on board. And we thank you for joining the session. My name is Mary Kilu. I'm marketing for General Insurance. And I take this opportunity to welcome you and just tell you a few house rules that we're gonna have during the talk. So everybody will be on mute to avoid background noises or interferences with the speakers, and only the speakers can unmute and mute themselves. However, if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to chat them. At the bottom there's a chat box. Click there and type your comments or your questions, and the speaker will address them at the end of the talk. At this moment, I want to welcome our General Manager, Health, to take us to the next, next point. Thank you. Welcome, David.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mary. As mentioned, my name is David Obonyo. I'm the GM for Health at Britam. And it's a wonderful day again for us to host this webinar. And today we are going to talk about relationships during this period, nurturing healthy relationships in line with mental wellness. We appreciate the challenges that people are facing. And this, coincidentally, is also coinciding with the month of love. This is the month of love. We have February 14th is on Sunday. So we felt, how do we then create a conversation about nurturing healthy relationships during this period? And so allow me to just introduce our CEO, that is Mr. Jackson Deuri, who will do an introductory remark before inviting our chief guest today, who's Datari. Thank you. Jackson.
Thank you, David. It's indeed a pleasure to again have our partners on the call. We consider you part of the Britam family, and it's always good to engage you, to have an opportunity to talk to you about health. As Britam, we are very committed to health and wellness, and because of that, we decided to not just be your health insurer, but to do more for you. So across our group of solutions, whether for corporates or whether for individuals, or whether for smaller organizations, the SMEs, one thing that we are very committed on is health and wellness. And it's always our pleasure to share information, to bring in the experts that we have to make sure that we do have a healthy nation. So I will talk, today's talk, of course, is about one of the 4 areas that Britam solutions look at, which is healthy living. But maybe I'll take just 1 minute to talk about what are the features that we have in our health solutions. The first part, which is what you're going to talk to about, is living a healthy life. So believe that if you're a health and a wellness partner to you, we should not just come and assist you when you fall ill. We believe in working with you and making sure that we give you the right advice, whether it's the services of nutritionists, whether it's the services of our stress management, or what we call mental wellness. We see that as a part of our health partnership journey with you. The other area that we work with you is around early diagnosis. And the idea is about all our solutions having annual medical checkup built into them, just to make sure that our customers, in case they have any ailment that hasn't been diagnosed, it can actually be caught early. And believe me, even some of the most dreaded diseases, such as cancer, if it's caught early, it is treatable. Of course, as part of the standard insurance package, we do have a tailor-made or options for quite all, I would say, all people from all walks of life, right from what we call essential package in the retail side to the advantage and premier packages, and of course to our corporate and SME solutions. And the idea is to avail a wide range of hospital treatment available to our customers, and also options to get treated at home. Last year when COVID started, we saw a situation where people were not comfortable going to hospitals. So at that point, we rolled out something called Britam Afya Mikononi, which is a telemedicine option, which means by just sending an SMS to a number, you can have the services of a health practitioner getting in touch with you. And listening to you and trying to diagnose what's ailing you. And in case you don't need hospitalization, we can even arrange drugs or medicine to be delivered to you. The last part of our health journey is around palliative care, which is making sure that for those customers of ours who are struggling with what I call terminal illnesses and maybe have reached a level where we'll all reach at some point, because at some point you're going to meet our maker, there's an option for what we call palliative care, which is home nursing. So you have all these benefits built into our health solutions. And as I said, we do have solutions right from for individuals, for corporates and SMEs. The last part I would like to talk about is COVID-19. As you know, COVID is still with us. It's a reality. We are thankful to God that we are healthy and alive. But COVID is real, in this part of the world and indeed world over. So we did roll out a standalone COVID-19 cash hospitalization cover. And that cover is for premiums of as little as 1,500 shillings. So it's fairly affordable. And anyone aged up 75 years old can actually join that, take that cover. So I do encourage you to have a conversation with your usual insurance partner, whether it's with your agent or broker, or indeed talking directly to us in case you are interested in any of the Britam Health solutions. Now, going back to healthy living, which is what we like to talk about, because all of us love good health, and I believe 2020 was a good indicator of what health means to all of us. The one thing I would like to talk about today is around our mental wellness and relationships. So we say February is the month of love, and today we have Dr. Muriuki with us, and Lily, always a pleasure and excited to listen to him around how do we maintain healthy relationships, because there is always a link between our mental wellness and our physical well-being. So back to you, Dr. Muriuki. It's indeed a pleasure. Always excited to listen to you. So, karibu daktari. You may need to unmute daktari.
That everyone is talking about in our country, about love. Like Mahatma Gandhi wrote once upon a time, that where there is love, there is life. And I truly and indeed want to believe that where there is love, there is life. And what a great thing for you guys to choose this topic about nurturing healthy relationships, which are a part of our mental wellness. One thing we need to appreciate is that mental health is not a destination. It is a process. It is about how you drive there, not where you are going. So as we start this journey of mental wellness, it is indeed my pleasure to bring to our attention that where we are going is determined by this journey that we are taking. And it takes a process. So when we talk of this process, we are simply saying it is not starting today and ending today. It is a long, long journey. they already said, my name is Chebere Murioki. I am a counseling psychologist. I deal with children and adolescent issues, helping them to cope, to hear them, to understand them, to make them feel a people again. I am also a relationship or a couples therapist, which they call marriage and family therapy. I'm also a trauma counselor. And above all, I consult in mental wellness. As you can see, I'm stationed at Purpose Counseling Center, which is found at View Park Towers on the 11th floor. On the 15th floor, sorry. Now, my people went, oh Lord. So when we talk about nurturing relationships, what comes into our mind? Let us not be pulled away by the word relationship. I would want us, first of all, to look at this word, to nurture. What is to nurture? To nurture is to take care of, is to develop something or someone. To nurture is to grow. To nurture is to protect. Nurturing is an action. As we look at nurturing the relationship, we cannot be able to nurture a relationship without being intentional. We can't nurture without being able to know this is a journey. It is a process. And the processes do not just come and go. Processes do not just happen. Processes are actions of intentionality. So, as we talk about nurturing, I believe now we are aware that when we nurture, we are simply saying we are taking care, we are protecting, we are growing something. And that which we nurture, we must be willing and ready to walk the journey. I think IT guys, someone is messing up the screen. I don't know who can assist me. The IT guys have left. So I was saying that when we nurture, we are being purposeful. When we nurture, we are becoming intentional. When we nurture, we are protecting. When we nurture, we are becoming jealous. We are becoming protective. We are saying, I want to see this that I have started grow to the end of it. When we nurture, we must be able to realize we are in a journey. And journeys are long. Journeys have got issues. Journeys are never smooth all through. So as we walk into this journey of nurturing, then I want to call upon everyone else to realize that what is in our mind, it's something that we intending to see it at a future date, at a better position. Having said that, then let us look at what is a relationship. A relationship, it's a way in which two or more people are connected together. It is an association. We are connected by blood. We can be connected by marriage. We can be connected by family. We can be connected by culture, friendship, work, kinship, love. We can be connected through ancestral ties, and some are connected through romance, and others are connected sexually. The connections that we meet, the relationship that we build are sustained by the effort of our nature. For us to see whatever we've started growing, we must be ready to protect it. We must be ready to grow it. We need to be aware that we need to develop it. We also need to be aware, do I want a healthy relationship or do I want an unhealthy relationship? For your information, my viewer and my listener, in our situation today, we will look at both types of nurturing. Be informed that we shall have nurture which is healthy, and we shall have a nurture which is unhealthy. And as I move forward, I need to remind you that I shrub a lot, and that's a problem that I acquired from where I come from. My names may be telling you so. So kindly bear with me when I bite my tongue in the process of trying to pronounce some words. Then when we talk of healthy, then I will take this second or two to explain or to define to us what is health in terms of mental health. It is a state of well-being in which one is able to realize their abilities. When we talk of abilities, we are simply saying, someone wrote on the screen, so it will mean that it's clear. When we talk of mental health and abilities to realize them, we are talking of how able are you to cope with normal stresses or things that you encounter in life. How are you able to work productively and fruitful? How able are you to make contributions to the society and the community that we live? In a nutshell, that is the description or the definition of mental wellness. So as we move on to look at nurturing healthy relationships, then it is important for us to put the nurture, the meaning of the relationship, and at the same time, the meaning of wellness. So when we nurture, are we ready to admit? Are we ready to liberate that which we have nurtured? Are we ready to acknowledge? Are we ready to cherish, respect, appreciate, enjoy? Acceptance. Nurturing is not a simple one-day business. Are we willing to embrace that which we have nurtured? Are we ready to foster it? Now, that is on the positive side, on the healthy aspect of nurturing. How ready am I to accompany this which that I am growing, this which that I am developing? How willing am I to accompany it up to the end of the development? It is important at this moment for me to remind ourselves if we ever thought that nurturing is easy. It is a difficult, daunting task. It is demanding. It is annoying. It is frustrating. It makes you and me to be angry. We are pushed to the verge of feeling, I will give up. Nurturing something healthy is hard work. I only want to pick one word about nurturing. Are you willing to liberate? There are some people who nurture, but they imprison. There are others who nurture and they enslave. There are others who are nurturing and they take away your breath, your personality, your individuality, your self-worth, your esteem. They are still nurturing. Mark you on the negative. And that is why I want to bring to our attention that our brains are wired for connections. Let me take that slowly in my mother tongue. Our brains are wired for connections. Our brains are now wired for nurturing. Our brains are wired for associations. Our brains are in such a way that God created us so that we can grow within each and by one another. And if we look at the African Ubuntuism, it is I am because you are. That tells me my great forefathers understood the value of nurturing relationships. And not only nurturing relationships, nurturing healthy relationships. And with that, in their time, they didn't have numerous mental problems that we are going through today. I want to put to us today that 60 to 80% of issues taken to the hospital are psychosomatic problems, meaning they are problems that are generated because of wrong nurturing. And so that I finish my statement, then it defines for us, I was saying, our brains are wired for connections. And that is why people who are going through trauma, people who are going through stress, people who are going through depression, they are very, very unhealthy relationships. It is difficult for them to relate with other people because they are wounding, they are acting, they are aching. And that is not the essence of health nurturing. So, I believe now you know, as I do, that relationships are supposed to be connective. When I meet, because I have met her, I will use her. When I meet Mary, it is supposed to be an encounter of connectedness. Our relationship must be healthy. When I meet David, it's the same. The moment we move away from that aspect, then we are not fostering liberty. We are not embracing one another. We are not cherishing one another. We are not accepting. And that word acceptance is deeper just than one can say. Nurture plays a significant role in our day-to-day life. May I say this, my dear friends, that we behave the way we do according to the way we were nurtured. We behave according to the way we were nurtured. I have heard so many parents bringing their children, like I said earlier, I deal with children and adolescents, wale mnaitanga matini, which is a labeling. And I want to remind everyone who is on this webinar today, as you call them, hii ni shinda sama adolescent, na watu wakifika adolescent hawambiliki. Remember, you were once upon a time a teenager. So I was saying, we behave according to our nature, our nature. And I meet parents, that's what I was saying, who will remind me, what is the problem with this generation? And most of the time, parents are so much unhappy with me. I tell them that there's no problem with this generation. There is no problem even with our child. There's no problem with our teenager. They are only reflecting their nature. They are behaving according to their environment. Nature refers to the variable of the environment, things that you get from the world around you. If the world around you is toxic, do not ask anyone else. Then I will become toxic. I will only deliver toxins because that is who I am. That is what I have been nurtured into. So as I move on, my question is, my dear viewer, are you nurturing healthy relationships? We are in the month of love. Have you nurtured a healthy relationship? How is your family? What sort of friends do you have? Do you have relationships that are built on trust, goodness, joy, that are healthy with your colleagues? Nurturing requires this word that we have always used. You will hear people telling each and everyone, can you be responsible? Responsibility cannot be complete without the ability to respond. This is where I want to come and pose a question to us. Whatever you say, have you ever questioned yourself? How true is it? Is it honest? As I say it, is it kind? Is it worth saying? Would I love to be told as it is? How do I respond? Am I a responder or am I a reactor? Do you fuel trouble or you calm the situation? How responsible are you when it comes to nurturing? When we talk of responsibility, are you responsible with your speech? How responsible are you with your tone? What choices do you make? Do your colleagues run to you and they know we are in a safe haven where our colleague will be able to help us come up with choices that are acceptable? At home, do they turn to you, mom? Do they turn to you, dad? Can they count upon you? Or do they come running to you when they are wounded outside? you nurture positivity or do you nurture negativity? We are always quick to pointing fingers at other people. And the good books always reminds us in almost all religions that we should not be concerned about the specks on other people's eyes. Rather, let us look at the logs that's making ourselves not to see. How many times have you sat down and looked at what you have produced? Remember we said nurturing is productivity. Behavior teaches me that I am the product and the producer of my environment. Before I say my son is truant, I must have produced the truancy, and I am the product of the truancy. Let me take that slowly. Behavior is learned, unlearned, and relearned. Behavior is learned through association and instrumentalism. When we talk of instrumentalism, we talk of modeling. So before I start drawing the consequences of my production and the product that I have produced, have I looked at myself? What did I produce? In my mother tongue, we always say a child looks like the mother or looks like the father. And we are keen to throwing problems to each other. How many times are you willing to accept I made a mistake here in nurturing? I brought a problem here in producing this produce. Remember, I am repeating, you are the product and the produce of your environment. So if we take care of our environment, when we nurture it, then this world will be a better place to live. Because nurture plays the one and the most key, the biggest of all, roles in development of our mental wellness. I am saying one of the biggest because we will have other environmental factors, we will have other genetical factors, we will have biological factors, and these are in small portions. The biggest percentage is how we nurture. We were nurtured in a certain way, and therefore, I believe today we will be looking and saying, what can I turn around? Because I said behavior is learned, unlearned, and relearned. No one was born with a bad behavior. No one was born with negativity. No one was born with rudeness. We have all learned from our environment. Be it at home, be it the company we pick, be it our marriage, be it our traditions. I come from a tradition that believes men should not enter the kitchen. And I am serious about it. In my culture, in my tradition, a man hata maziwa ikiwa inamwagika na hatuna pesa ya kununua maziwa ingine, it's a taboo for me to run into the kitchen and say and remove the milk that is spilling. As an individual, I have worked against such, and I enter the kitchen, and that's why I said behavior is learned, unlearned, and a new one is relearned. So today, as we move on, we are being guaranteed of one assurance, that we can unlearn all the negatives that we have learned. And in the event, we will be able to foster, to grow, to develop, to take positive actions. We will be able to bring up things that are positive to ourselves. So, therefore, responsibility calls for me to fix my mistakes. Responsibility calls for me to fix my mess. It is not important for us to point fingers at each other. It is time for us to realize that we are supposed to nurture a healthy relationship. For connectivity to be there, for association to be there, we must come down and meet at the same path and take our mistakes. We must start from our commitment. What was the first commitment? Whichever area you are looking at, I do not want only to look at relationships whereby man and woman are concerned, or what we are to celebrate on Sunday. I want to mean in all spheres of our lives. Like I said, in marriage, with our children, in our families, with our kinship, in our cultures, in our traditions, by blood, friendships, colleagues, name them. The list is endless. Also, it calls for me and you to do the right thing. It means for me and you to accommodate each other. It means me and you to be able to look at it and say, how much ground can I seed? Responsibility is doing what is expected of me. Responsibility is choosing to do the right thing. Responsibility is being accountable. Now, and I know that's a very sticky, rusty statement. I want to pose a question. Are you accountable to your 7-year-old son or daughter? Are you? Accountability is not a sign of weakness. Rather, it is a sign of great strength. Are you accountable? Are you accountable to your colleagues? Are you accountable? I always wonder, in my country, we complain of uchafu everywhere, taka everywhere. I always ask myself one question. If today I became accountable to I, and I stopped littering, and someone else did the same, and you, and you, and you, would we be having this, that? I believe not. That's what nurturing is all about. It must be able to lead by example. You must be able to follow. And when we are at it, relationships go through a cycle. Why do they go through a cycle? Because relationships are not supposed to be constant. There is this belief, and when couples come to me for therapy sessions, they always drive back to when they started. And they ask him, why are we not like when we started? And I always answer, because when you started, you did not know one another. There was no reality. There was no intentionality. And that is where we start from the first step, romance. Where we meet as perfect people. This is the stage of fantasies, hope. And when we are at this stage, our brains produce a lot of endorphins. These are feel-good hormones that make us great, happy, positive, looking forward to meet. And you can tell me those are days that you could chat with one another for hours to no end. It is because at this stage, there is nothing much to fix. Relationships do not work on a linear causality. It must be a cyclic one. It's a cycle. And each and every time, let me demystify the maid that when you have married or when you have stayed with somebody for maybe 15, 20, 25 years, then there are no rusty moments, there are no disagreements. I want to remind each and every one of us that is not true. We go through the cycle over and over and over and over again. The cycle determines how are we able to learn. Remember, I said to nurture is a business of intentionality. It's a business of purpose. It's work that you make a decision. I'm going to go through this for your relationship. Whatever it is, this cycle, it's not only talking about marital relationship. It is a general cycle, be it in places of work, be it at family, be it in marriage, be it siblings. It is a cyclic relationship. So then when we move to reality, this is where now power struggles are. Now, I inform you, dear ones, there are some people who get to this stage and they never leave this stage. And also, majority of relationships die at this stage. This is the stage of power struggle. Problems are germinated here. Why does this stage become difficult? Because now we are seeing the weaknesses. Remember the statement we always say, love is blind. I want to put it to you today. It has never been blind. Actually, you are the one who has been ignorant enough and not wanting to see things that you can work on. Now, somebody will use a different word. You didn't see red flags. I will not use such word. Remember earlier I talked about response, not reaction. When you see something that needs to be worked upon, then you work upon it at this stage. We allow our vulnerability to be exposed, and this is where we don't like. Allow me to talk to bosses. This is where bosses will never move. And that is why some relationships in the office are which word can I use? Ninjasia ndugu yangu. My sister, do it for me. This is stage where people refuse because they don't want to be aware of themselves. They do not want to allow the other person to be their feedback button. They do not want the other person to be their mirror. They don't want to be told. Of course, I know you will ask me a question. Lakini na madharau yake. Yes. Hold it there. I am a firm believer. Feedback will not be given in my way for me to understand it. Yes, psychology has taught me we need to do sandwiching. Sometimes we lose the meaning of feedback when sometimes we sandwich. Yes, when you come to therapy with me, I will sandwich. But when it is in a business, when it is in family, we don't need to. We only need to understand that what our partner, what our colleague, what our friend, what our lover, what my son, what my daughter, what my wife is saying, what my kinsman is telling me, I need to sit down and ask myself, when did the rain start beating? It is through the other people that I discover myself. Then we go to stage 3, the the reaction stage. Now, at this stage, we have gone to nil and mouth. And by the way, let me say this. In marital counseling, we make a mistake at marrying at this stage. Let's meet in therapy. I will explain more into details, because if I go there, I'll be teaching marriage. But we make a mistake marrying at this stage because we have not learned the other person. We've not allowed the other person to be meek, to be weak, and to be vulnerable. And we also don't want to work. Remember, nurturing all the relationships is hard work. Now, the reaction stage, now we have learned, and most of the time, fights have been subdued, but we have learned to mask the relationship. We are not truthful. We don't honor. We do not want to make. We do not want to improve. We do not want to put work into the relationship. Stage 4, we go to resistance. This is now the stage of marriage. Because we have learned, we have made a commitment. Remember up earlier, we were talking for us to be responsible in a relationship. We have to keep to the commitment. We have to know what is expected of us. We have to do that which we're supposed to and do it right. We are supposed to know how to respond. We are supposed to know that I made a choice and I have to abide and live with my consequences. I know the debates are there when I use that word. Yes. Living with the consequences doesn't mean you are in jail. It is sitting, both of us coming from the same level and saying, we meshed up here. We need to change it up to this. Behavior, remember, is learned, unlearned, and another one is relearned. Don't you forget I said, we learn through association and instrumentally. You are the producer of the product that you are, be it your marriage, be it your job, be it your son, be it your daughter. I wonder why we are fighting about the situation in our schools today. These are our sons and daughters. We are the produce. We are the product of this. I am short of saying, we run to raise our sons and daughters and want to raise them at church. We tell men and women, get a good wife from the church. I dare everyone and say, it is working futility. If our houses are not like the church, then I'm sorry. We will not achieve our work. If we want to raise our sons and daughters as they are raised up in the churches, then we must, not I'm using a dogma, we must bring the church at home. I believe you've heard me. Then we go to stage number 5, the reflection stage. Now, this is the love and the reflection center. You know me, I know you. You can tolerate me here. You can give in here. You heard me talking of concession. You can give ground because I am responsible. Because you are responsible. Now, let me tell you, my dear one, that the society have coined up negative statements that I sometimes listen and I feel like I want just to sink. When they come at my house and they find me washing utensils, you know what my tribesmen will say? Nimekaliwa. When I realized I did not marry Adobe, a washing machine, I can offer a helping hand. It was not just a miracle. It is because I want to nurture. It is because I am willing to pay the price. It is because I am willing to develop. It is because I am ready to grow someone, something, into something that I'll look back and say, yes, this is the product of my hard labor. I was intentional. It is a process. I came from there, and now we are here. At this stage, it is the stage where we say, come on, we need to have a talk. And on again, we start the cycle. The same me that you are meeting here now talking. Not that I have relationships that are made in heaven. They are just made here on earth. We disagree and we start the cycle again. And we renew it because there is responsibility. I want to pose a question to each and every one of us. Do you want to nurture a relationship that is healthy? Or you want to nurture a toxic, unhealthy relationship? May I put it to you today, when you don't take care of wellness, be assured, my brother, my sister, that you will take care of illness. It is either way. The choices are yours and mine. What do you want to take? Now, when we do not nurture positivity, we walk into another cycle. And now I am walking into the negative world. I am done with the positivity. If you want to have a healthy relationship, not only today, if you want to have a wealth of health, then do the upper things that we've talked about. I don't want to take time going back out there. But then when you don't do, I have heard so many people say, I am living with a narcissist. I dare say, no, I am living with a toxic man, a toxic woman. I dare say, no. It is because when we were supposed to do the work at the reality section, we buried our hands in the sand. We walked away. We did not want the pain of the hard work. We were not willing to go the process. We were not to take the journey. We wanted a quick fix. Remember, we are the generation of microwaves. When we walk onto the wall and we touch it, and there comes light. And we walk out again and we touch it, and there comes darkness. Relationships are not on and off business. And if you do not want a cycle of abuse, then I dare you, you have to put work into our relationship. If you want mental stability, I dare you, we need to put work into our relationships. We need to nurture. So how come some people are happy? How come others are so unhappy? The problem is not the other person. The problem is you. I'm smiling because I know if I was near you, some would have hit me so hard. Yes, I repeat, the problem is you. I want to dare ask you, when were you intentional? Let me put it in another way. How long does it bring us to bring up a child up to the age? Okay, it's straight. It takes us around 18 years for a child to leave education, and 24 years roughly for a child to be dependent and start doing earning officially. Why are we willing to take that long? It is because we want them to be better people. Then that is the same and the only payment that we need to put into our relationships. As we look at abuse, we need to look at it from attention building. Tension increases. There is breakdown of communication. And then we create fear amongst ourselves. We stop communicating and we start becoming army commanders. Then immediately we move to level 2, where verbal, emotional, physical abuse walks in. Note carefully. We started by creating tension. We cut off communication. And then we created fear. I have met parents, and I'm not against them, whom their children, before they came for therapy, and I'm not saying I perform miracles. It is a journey we walk, and we walk the journey with those who are willing to walk. It is a choice. I have met parents whom their children would never, ever go to them for anything. And no wonder our children are running to wrong places for advice, for counsel, for leadership. And that takes away our parental role. Why? Because we created tension. Daddy walks in that door. Everyone scampers for safety. Realize you're building negativity. You will pay for it. When that section 2 comes in, an incident has occurred, the abuser will always calm down and apologize and give excuses and blame someone. And the victim, because of the fear and everything else that they go through, they want to be reconciled, and again they start the process. They make the victims feel that they are cause of the problem. And then we have a situation of calmness again, and we are in a sort of honeymoon. We kind of forget, and the cycle goes over and over and over again. The problem is not on the relationship. The problem is not on the nurturing. The problem is the nurture. Remember, I said you produce your world and you're the product of your world. Why should you be uncomfortable to eat that which you have produced? And then we become tools and people and an object of running to hospitals. How many of us cannot sleep without a painkiller? How many of us will tell me they will never sleep until they take one bottle? How many of us will tell me until it gets 1 in the morning, I will not get sleep? And exactly at 4:30, I'm on my way out. It is because you have been abused and now you're suffering from a mental abuse. Now, let me take you briefly to what happens to mental abuse. Now you become one who needs to be reassured now and then. You are never sure. Your trust levels goes away. You do not believe your emotions. You do not know whether you're sick or not. You overthink over little small things. Your self-worth decreases. And this is the last that I want to mention about. When your self-worth goes down, your value diminishes at the same speed. Let me take you to the shelf of a supermarket. Have you ever thought why there is a price tag? I want to believe every lady, every man listening to me today has an opportunity to go to the supermarket. Have you ever seen something that has not been priced? That is the worth of that product. And what you get when you pick it is the value you pay for. When you lack worth, when you lack price tag, don't run all over. Realize you are in an abusive relationship, you have been abused, or you are the abuser, and you are suffering from mental abuse. Have you met somebody unamwambia guy ako kadress kako ni katamu, unakwambia hii tu ya mtumba na wewe? It is because their worth finished long time ago. There is no value attached to the individual. And what they are wearing is not a cloth, but a mutumba thing. They do not see the individual in them. They stand to become things. Are you nurturing people around you? Unfortunately, and very unfortunately, the moment you have, or the moment you are in a nurtured negative relationship, you will start by being in a cycle of abuse, which I've explained. Then we go to the cycle of mental issues. This stage is where now you go to the hospital, they run tests, and the results are negative. And I believe I'm talking to insurers. If I asked David to give me statistics of people who are going just for tests, they are unbelievable. It is because they are having relationships that are very unhealthy. We need to fix that, and all the problems are over. And that's why I keep telling people, we have a solution in counseling psychology. Walk into my office. We will have a chat. Leave your burdens in my office. Anyway, that is not what brought me here today. When you walk into a cycle of pain, you wake up in the morning and you have tension in your muscles. You have pressure on your nerves. Do you know what that means? We are having circulation problem. Now, not of blood, of oxygen. When our hormones and when the neurotransmitters and the chemicals that are in our brains, when the nerve system, that is the CNS and the PNS, are not in agreement with our brain and our organs, then the body is simply sending signals. You start having muscle tension, you start having restricted movement, you have poor sleep, insomnia, depression, anxiety, pain over, muscle pain, joint pain, headaches, unhappiness, tiredness, fatigue. It is Sunday. Instead of resting, you wonder, oh my God, it's Monday again. I am not talking to you. I have never met you. But just know, come, we start the journey of healing your mental wealth so that you can have mental wellness, and by touching your relationships. Note the word is very intentional. Your relationships. Why do we need to touch your relationships? Because you deserve a 360 degrees of wellness. Because health is not the state of your body. Health is not the state of your body. It is the state of your well-being. When the being is acting, the whole body will be complaining. I want to, and I was sharing this, and even my children and my family knows, and a few inner friends knows that whenever they call me, or whenever Mary picks that phone call and tells me that I have a presentation here, I start a journey of discomfort bowels. And you can imagine she told me this 2 weeks away. And Mary, 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 you always draw me there. Because I am wondering, will I deliver? I am wondering, what will be my feedback? Do I know the questions? Do I know what I will do with it? And even my moderators started by reminding me it was a good one the other time. So my yardstick is still there. No wonder I have unsettled bowels. Now that is the power of cycles. Imagine what it does to me just by being told by Mary. And please don't mention Mary. I am followed by Priscilla and the team with emails and reminders. And the journey goes on and on. And if I am not able to understand myself, I am in a cycle, then I will run into taking medication. And this is exactly what happens to us when we are in an unhealthy, negative relationship. My dear one, my question is simple. My statement is simple, and grab it for me. My question is simple. Are we nurturing relationships that are healthy? As I come to the end of my presentation, I only want to ask you, are you growing? Are you nurturing? Are you protecting? Can you be trusted upon to take care? Can our families believe in you? Are you a sense of unification? Are you a sense of association? Are you a point of connectivity? What relationships am I nurturing? Can my daughter run to me as an avenue or a place where they call a safe space? I don't believe with this statement that says, msichana hawezi ongea na baba yake. Why then am I a father? My fatherhood responsibilities run until the day I leave this earth. Because I am nurturing. I am in a journey. I am in a process. I am growing. It is a business of intentionality. It is a business of purpose. It is a way of consciousness. I am doing this not unconsciously. I am not allowing my environment to dictate. I am the product of my produce. I am changing my environment. My childhood is not dictating my adulthood. I am aware. Are you aware? If I posed a question today, and I would want to ask the few people I have interacted with, and I will only ask my friend Mary, who are you? Then we will be able to answer the question of nurturing, because what you nurture is what you are. Stop looking outside. Our sons, our daughters, our marriages, our relationships, our work, our cultures, our tradition, our families are as we are. So they only show us in the quiet environment. If you do not know about my family, look at my children, look at my wife. Then you will know who is Nchebere. Anything else I say can be tested by that which I have developed. I believe, I want to trust that today you have learned it is important to regard, it is necessary to welcome, to accompany, to liberate, to attend to accept, to nurture, to befriend, to cherish, to receive, to hold, to protect. Nurturing is difficult work. It is impossible business. And thank you so much. Thank you once again, Britain family, for allowing me this great moment to share with you this honorable topic of how to nurture. I hope as I end, I meet the bill. I hope as I go, I have people that I have nurtured. Can I influence somebody? Let us start with where we are. Thank you so much. Over and back to my moderator.
Thank you so much, Dr. for that full and powerful. What is coming? Dr. from your talk, and I think that I've really they have made me reflect this, that am I nurturing people around me? And then something else you talked about is, what are you nurturing? So these are some for us, especially in this period of the pandemic, and especially as we sit, families become closer, things that probably we need to reflect on more. But then there are so many questions that have come in through the chat. Allow me, Dr. to just ask some of these questions. So
it's okay, go ahead. It's okay, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Dr. So there are, number one, we have seen several asked about it could be the chat. We have shared the link on YouTube, and the video will be available to YouTube even after this session. So for anyone who has missed this, and this is to Vivian and your colleagues, you can share and pick up. They can pick up the conversation and share with their colleagues. Now, some of the questions, Dr. we have gotten questions, people really saying thank you for that, because most guys were really Then there's a question here from Esther Wabulo, who was asking, could we share the training, the slides after this? Yes, we'll share based on the email that you, in terms of. And then there's one from Jen Gishuru. Thanks for this great help. Be able to support the issue of drugs and alcohol abuse, as this is one of the major problems in the mental health field. So allow me, Dr. to just respond to Jen. Jen, yes, if you look at what we are doing currently, is part of our psychotherapy therapy support. We do support the issues of drug abuse and alcoholism. And what we do is that we guide them, especially in terms of how to rehabilitation part of it. So we do support that. Then there's a question, this is a comment from Mildred. Thanks, Britam, this is great. Kindly share the slides, we will do that. And then there's also Warren Odhiambo, was much appreciated to Britam. This is a very timely talk. Then we have a comment also from Salma. Powerful speech indeed. That one, Dr. I can't agree more. The speech was very powerful. Then Simon Dirango has asked, please address why money happens to be mostly the key issue in broken marriages and how to Dr.
Okay, thank you, David. And I want to be categorical to the word, the question, the one who's question. I'll ask that question. Money has never been a tool of issue. It is because we put our insensitivity, number one, before the problem. We refuse to address the person and address each other. We address the personalities. When I ask you as my spouse or my partner, mbona ufanyi kazi kama wanaume wengine? Ideally, I have lost the taste of whatever I want them to say. That question is addressing the person, not what the person is not doing. Meaning, it is time, like I said, in the cycle of relationship. It is time to accept, to learn at stage 2, the reality of our communication. When we do not want to be accountable, when men will ask women, bono to me ubongo kama watu wazima, it is no longer what you are addressing, it is the person. The moment you start addressing the individual, you have lost. Money is not the problem. Children are not the problem. The problem is how we choose to use our language. Remember, my viewer, when we started, I talked about the ability to respond. Let us not look at that word lightly. The moment you fail to know how to respond and you start reacting, you have lost the game. You have lost the discussion. There is no communication. There is no interaction. We can't connect. We can't have an association because I attacked the person. Can we learn, first of all, to respond? I asked a question. When it comes to responding, when I have to talk, I must ask myself few questions. Whatever I'm about to say, is it true? If it is true, how honest is it? Once I discover it is honest enough, will I be kind? If I'm not kind, and the statement is true, it is honest, and it won't be kind, then it cannot see the light of the day. I have to rethink before I answer. How intentional is my talking? How deliberate is my talking? That falls in the responding category. That falls into me giving myself some choices. It is not wrong for partners to be asked a question today and you ask for time to respond. When you are not malicious, you will say, can I answer you tomorrow? Can I answer you after 3 hours? I have heard you. Do not become the one who fuels trouble. Instead, pacify, bring calmness, and then the consequences of our actions must be our responsibility. Over to you, David.
Thank you so much, Dr. for that response. Here, but I think this is more of a comment from her, from Efanas Etuku. He is just, I think, adding to the issue of money. Money tends to be a big problem in marriage relationships when not discussed from the word go. However, couples can go back to the drawing board and fix the issue of money. But then there's also Simon Dirango. Simon is talking about teenagers, and my daughter retorted, "I thank you, Dad, for providing, but I want out. I need my friends." This happened during the time of the lockdown, and I felt it's my obligation to keep her safe due to all the news around teenagers drinking and sex during the idle time. So how do you handle such a situation where your daughter tells you she's a teenager and she feels like she just needs to go out, and she doesn't, sometimes as parents, we feel there's no appreciation within on what you're doing?
Okay, thank you very much. I will answer it from the point that when you hear a teenager retorting, it is a clear indicator of unresolved problems. In other words, it is sometimes important for us to run our houses the way we run offices. Do we have structures that are functional? Do we have structures that are alive, that can be followed, protocols? These things do not start when they are 14. These things start when they are 2. I want to pose this question to David. I believe the day you came to Britain, you were taken through, when they offered you the chance to work with them, they took you through an induction process. They took you through a training. They took you through how they do things here. I want to believe it's because they wanted to initiate you into the traditions and the culture and the practices of Britain family. My question, before we point a finger to the teenager, do we have a life structures? Do we have a relationship? Yes, I agree with that teenager. If Daddy, you are a provider, then I am missing a big chunk of my life. I know many parents will disagree with me. And I want to say, young people are not unruly. It is us parents who have produced them. Did you nurture them? Let's go back to the drawing. Is there a relationship between me and my child, between you and your daughter, between you and your son? Can you sit down? Let me ask you, parents, why do children respect their teachers? It is because there are living structures, alive ones. How many times did you introduce an open discussion where there's no victimization, where I will not be judged by what I said yesterday? I will not be labeled by what I commented. Do we have families where our children can feel, I would rather run to my mother and say this in the comfort of our family? Is that applicable? If not, behavior is learned. It can be unlearned and it can be relearned. The beauty is we can start afresh. The beauty is we can change everything. I put it to each and every one of us. Our children are our products and our produce. When we learn to embrace them, to regard them, to respect them, to nurture them, to accept them, to acknowledge them, to liberate them, to appreciate them, they are great children. I want to end by saying, children love where there is order and discipline. My question is, as I go back to David, is your household disciplined? Is there order? do you lead by example? Over to you, David.
Thank you so much, Daktari. A lot of appreciation coming in from the viewers, and most of them are really enjoying your talk. Once Edgar reaches, he wants us to share the notes, and that one we will do. Thomas Morunga is good talk, organize such talk regularly. Thank you so much in conjunction with our marketing team. Then Boniface is looking forward to having the notes. We'll make sure Boniface the notes have been delivered. There's a question here that is coming from Simon Dirangu again. He's asking a question, and this one is concerning money. He's saying that his son has a problem of money sticking to his hands. So he has to dispense as per use. But I will not always be able to manage him. Brothers are at the university staying in a rental room out there, gambling finances. Do you have a program to prepare our children to take over from us on money management on our unearned cash when we have left? This is to help us manage after the tap have closed on retirement. I think the one of the things that is coming out is the issue of how money and within families. Probably you can just elaborate further on that.
Okay, I think this question, David, is this listener is asking about how to empower young people. And I believe if I am right or if I had it wrong, David, you can correct me. There is need for us to have a talk around teenagers, around young people, or now they can be responsible people, how they can invest, maybe how they can use their money around and within a psychological aspect of how to live a healthy life within our monies. And I agree with the listener that with your help and your team, David, I believe we can work on that and we can do that one. I think that's what he's asking.
Thank you, Simon. As Britam, we have an investment options, and what we do, we just guide people on making prudent decisions about investments. And this is something that we can reach out to you, and we can also either have it as a personal training, or our team for financial advisors can reach out to you and help to structure something that then can help your kids. Thank you so much, Daktari. Now, Emily Mukinda is saying powerful lessons, very well presented. The presenter is out of this world. On behalf of Daktari, thank you. Now, how does one handle a 10-year-old who decides to repeat mistakes now and then and shows no remorse? To you, Daktari.
Thank you. You do not need to handle a 10-year-old in any other way. Honestly, I want to stand for that 10-year-old. I only have one question to the parents. Were they 10 years old? Can they allow this youngster, this young person to grow? It is a process of growth. They will one day remember. One thing I want to tell my parents, never stop reminding. We have a simple philosophy at home. We sing songs, do not leave the lights on. And when somebody leaves them on, you do not use a demeaning language. You go back over to the person and you remember that you need to liberate this child. You remember that this child is only 14. They have got respect. This child is only 10. Talk to a language that they can understand. Wacha kumwambia mtoto wewe ni mjinga. That is negativity. You are planting a cycle that you will pay for. Then switch off the light and ask the child, Peter, you forgot to switch off the lights again. Oh, I'm sorry, mommy. Thank you. That's why I love you, my boy. You move on. Watch out. 3-4 times. You will create self-esteem. My question is, how many times did we care how we speak our children? I do not want to go to our parties. How many times do we all insult in front of our children? Sincerely speaking, what are you nurturing? When you call the other one a goat, kama mama yake ni mbuzi, yes, ni katoto kambuzi. Or how do I understand these things? Let children be children. Allow them to grow. Lead them. I sincerely want to say, when you foster empowerment, when you embrace, when you thank, when you appreciate, when you support, when you trust, you get back full measure, shaken and pouring over. What you plant is what you reap. What you nurture is what you get. Trust you me, I have never met a difficult child. I have never. I have brought children who have been labeled names, and it takes wonderful talks. And parents come back and ask me, umemfanya nini? Ati mumekaa mnaongea. And I tell the child to walk away, and I sit the parent and I tell them, I wish I could beat you the same way you beat your child. You are producing negativity. Kindly stop complaining. My plea this afternoon, can we take care? Can we treasure our children? Can your daughter say, I know daddy loves me? Can your son say, I know mommy, my parents care about me? Can they talk of trust? Can they come and tell you, mommy, I goofed, daddy, I messed up? Can your daughter come and say, and viewers, I want to use their common language because I hear them using this. Remember I said, you have to create the church at home. Can your son, your daughter come and say, daddy, I screwed up, without you screaming off your skin? Come on, my age mate. The problem is ours. Allow our children to grow. David.
Thank you so much, Dr. We have a question from Sylvia. How do I nurture a healthy relationship in adulthood with a father who though growing up present, we never engaged emotionally. We never grew a child-parent bond, so never learned to engage even in a conversation. Back to you, Dr.
Okay, thank you, David. And I will start to the lady, and I will tell her sincerely and honestly. Change starts with me. Change starts with you. David, let me use you as my teaching aid, with your permission, sir.
Permission granted.
Thank you, sir. If I am your brother, and every time we have a discussion, I am very disrespectful, I want to believe the next time you will keep away from me, or we will have a disagreement. I want to believe so. However, if any time I approach you with respect, whether I am younger or older, with respect, I want to believe the same is accorded. It is a business of transforming myself before I reach out to someone else. Am I able to notice my weakness before I come to you, David, who is my brother? Can I deal with me first before I point out to you? First and foremost, what language am I using to say the same thing? I remember a couple that came over for therapy, and they had fought over drinking and coming home late. And one of the things that I picked is the tone in which the wife used it. And we started very simple lessons. And it was very difficult for us when we had one-on-one with the lady. I asked her, is it possible when your husband walks in late, is it possible to just say, welcome home? Aliruka futi kumi, nikamwacha akashuka chini. We finished our session. Then akanipigia simu. When are we having our session? Nikamwambia the date. Akakuja. Nikamuuliza swali moja. Were you able to say welcome home? Akaniambia sifanyi hiyo. Nikamwambia session imeisha. Because why then would we want to point fingers at others when we are the contributor? Why are we not understanding when I say psychology has taught me I am the product and the produce of my environment? What I produce is what I get from my environment. Can we start with ourselves? I only want to speak to this lady. Yes, if she can come for therapy. However, tonight, change your language, change your facial expression, work on your tone, walk over to the mirror, assume the other person, your partner is the other person. Talk as you would have wanted to be talked to. Do unto me that which you want me to do to you. It is very simple. You will be shocked at what communication that is thought for can do to us. Over to you, David.
Thank you so much, Daktari. A lot of comments coming through our YouTube channel. We have Nelson appreciating the talk. We have Tabitha, Rispa, Godfrey, Pamela, and Thomas, all those appreciating the talk. And of course, Isabella, they are commenting through our YouTube channel. Now, Daktari, there's a question here from Grace Nyaga, who's asking, what is the meaning of sandwiching?
Oh, sorry. I forgot. Not everyone is in my field. I'm sorry. My apologies. When we talk of sandwiching, let's go to the King Burger or Burger, whatever the name, and look at the sandwich. There's the bread and the bread on top, and then there are the toppings, the sandwich, and the things inside there. When we talk, we need to sandwich. What do we mean by sandwiching? We start with accolades, appreciation. We talk of the positives. We talk of what good you can pick from the other person. Then, when you talk of negatives, you do not attack the personality. You do not use words like utumi ubongo, uliaribu pesa, wacha ulevi. Address what annoys you. For example, when I want to talk to my wife, I will start a sentence by, may I ask you a question? And this is my wife. When she grants me the permission, I go to the next level. Can I use a word that was said somewhere to refer to what I want to say? If a feedback is not acceptable, I don't use. In other words, when we give feedback, we must be intentional. Not to attack the person, not to be rude, not to be arrogant, not to pay evil for evil. Two wrongs makes no right. To always respect the person, accept where the person was when they did what they did, understand what led to them doing what they did, and then ask yourself, if I were the one, what would have happened? Meaning, when we sandwich, we take deliberate intentions on how we speak and how we convey our messages. Why? Because we fight over what we say. It takes two to tango. How do I respond? How do I comment? How do I communicate? So when we sandwich, we do not use words that are going to elicit a quarrel. No wonder when people come to therapy, we are able to show them they are wrong without a fight, because we sandwich our words. It is the same method that parents should use to their teenagers. By the way, teenagers are very, very respectful when you show them respect. So sandwich, think through your wordings. welcome their positives, and then talks of the negative without being disrespectful. That is what we mean at length to sandwich. We are not only eating the bread, we are eating the things inside there. And that is what is sandwiching. David?
Thank you so much, Daktari. A question coming in from, this is from Patrick Gito. Psychology needs to religious clergies and mass media in nurturing healthy relationships.
I didn't hear that. David, go over it again.
Do you think professional counselors and psychologists need to take up their role rather than leaving it to religious clergies and mass media in nurturing healthy relationships?
We take our roles, and we've already taken it. It is the society that we have grown into. That number one, let me talk to the men in the house. They believe men do not go for therapy. May I tell you, David, when I was entering this profession, I come from a real chauvinist community, and they kept asking me, ulikosa kazi ingine kufanya, ukaenda kufanya kazi ya wanawake ya kugossip. So, when we change our attitude, may I say confidently, most people who seek counseling or who come for psychology help or mental wellness, they have tried their pastors, it has failed, and if they are living, because you see how they are killing each other, they have tried their wasasi wa harusi, they have tried the parents if both are there, they have tried all other avenues. Some have even gone to psychiatry. I am not saying it is wrong, but some issues, first of all, need to start with counseling psychology. This is my statement, that before we go to our religious people, before we go to our parents, we need to first of all start from counseling. It will never go wrong. Now, media do not help us here. They only portray the negative of our society. So media is not a friend of us. There is a lot of positive things that they should be hearing out instead of the things they air. I am not saying that they are doing something wrong. I am saying how they hear it. So yes, we are working, and our country has realized the need for people to go for therapy. I challenge the men in the house, come for therapy. Don't wait for the problem to bring you down. It is okay not to be okay. When you meet me in therapy, whatever we discuss is private and confidential. I am bowed by my professional ethics not to dare to speak if the health of the country, the nation, and the person, and the people around the person or the client is not threatened. So yes, we have a solution, and a big one, to our country and our society when we change our attitude and perspective of and perception of psychology. Over to you, David.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. There's one of the listeners registered as field researcher. He has asked a question: how do I deal with situation where all the children are very, very free with the father, but very much economical with the mother? Back to you, Dr.
Okay, thank you. What she needs to do is very simple. Listen to what the children are saying. Maybe these children, have you mothers ever heard a statement from teenage and children? Ah, mom, we're angry. They're not simply saying we're angry. They're simply telling you, mom, we tell you, you don't listen. Can you really learn to become listeners? Can we learn to listen and not to criticize? These are very two different things. When a child runs to you, Mami, nilipoteza penzi yangu. Ah, well, you're very careless. What have you done to that child? She came or he came to you because it was wooded outside. They know there is refuge at home. When you do not nurture hope, peace, calmness, they will definitely run to daddy. And when they are given a place of embrace, when they feel listened to, they will come back again. You have got an assignment, my dear sister, to start with yourself. Listen to the things your children tell you. When you listen to that, start working on yourself. What are your triggers? How do you respond? And I can bet you don't respond. You react most of the time. Remember, we started by saying, we nurture by caring. What they are simply saying, Mom, you're not caring enough. Dad is. By the way, when we post things about our fathers on Mother's Day and we leave our fathers, we are just passing on a cycle of abuse. Our sons are at the periphery watching, so they know men are good for nothing. Let's be careful what we say and how we do it. Then the second and the last thing that I would help this lady is children learn more by seeing what we do. Can I talk to the ladies? Go check today. If you apply lipstick, your daughter, even if she is 3 years, ameanza kuingia kwa pochi yako na anachukua lipstick anaipaka mpaka kwa uso. Because children are product of us. They have learned from us. They have seen it. Now, this is my last statement to you, lady, my sister. Reduce the talking, increase the action. I hope you got that. Remember, our lives are 80% action and 20% verbal. We do what we say more than what we speak. And no wonder we say actions speaks louder than words. Therefore, reduce the talking to your children. Increase the doing. Remember, nurturing is an action. It is a process of doing. Do. How and when did you lastly embrace your children? Hug your children when they wake up, when they come from school. Are you an avenue of safety? Can they trust you? Do they enjoy your company? Do they treasure you? When did you lastly candle or crandle or hold and befriend to your child? I can say on and on and on. You've not lost it, my sister. You only need to do. And if that is difficult, I am a stone throw away. You can get me through David and other people. And yes, we can fix it. David?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Daktari. There's one from Mercy Njuguna. She's asking, how do I get my 3-year-old to concentrate and reason?
3-year-old? Sorry, I didn't get that, David. Sorry, get that back to me.
How do I get my 3-year-old to concentrate and reason? She has a 3-year-old who wants to concentrate and reason.
Honestly, that is why I'm touching my head, because I am wondering. How else do you want a 3-year-old to concentrate other than a 3-year-old? Seriously. I wish I knew how to say Chineke. Lord of Nazareth. A 3-year-old can never concentrate like a 5-year-old. Please, dear parent, allow your child to grow through the growth and developmental milestones after milestone, one step after the other. Also, be willing to check, is your child a slow grower? Do they move slowly? Honestly, 3-year-old must concentrate at the level of a 3-year-old. Now,
This is where I disagree with teachers. They want 3-year-olds to be robots. Unfortunately, when you create a machine, then be ready to manipulate it and operate it. And when it gets 18, it becomes unruly. Because you created a robot, but you did not create a workout machine. You did not create what technology, kugusa ndio isipotee njia. Allow a child to be. A 3-year-old is concentrating, or she is concentrating at the level of a 3-year-old. Period. When they get 5-year-old, understand the developmental milestones. For a 3-year-old, for a 5-year-old, for a 10-year-old, remember we have slow learners, remember we have fast learners, and teachers sometimes lose this. And this is where, again, you must grow with your child. I have heard parents say, nilikuwa natafuta pesa, I don't understand my child. Don't do that mistake. Do you have time to grow with your child? Do you know your child? Do you? If you don't, you're sitting on a time bomb. I guarantee you it will detonate on you. So, do not think money solves a problem. They want you. Teenagers want the presence, not gadgets. So, let the child be. Let a 3-year-old concentrate just like a 3-year-old. David?
This one came through our emails. I was injured emotionally from October 2020 up to now. My wife, who had gone to another man. Sometimes I feel pain at my chest area. I'm trying a lot to get it out of my mind, but all of a sudden I find myself thinking too much about this issue. How can I overcome this?
Oh boy, that's very personal. That's very hurting. That's very painful. I feel with you, brother, and I feel your pain. It's a difficult journey. Healing, be it women, be it men, healing from hurts and pains and aches from people we trusted, people we were vulnerable to, people we were weak to, people that we thought and knew are our friends. Honestly, David, I would not want to discuss this in such an open forum. If it is fine for this brother, through your office, they can come for therapy whereby we explore 1,000,001 ways for him to recover. One thing is very clear, he has already said he is working towards recovery. And what this brother is saying is that healing does not mean the damage did not occur. It also does not mean that the pain did not exist. The trauma was not real. It means I want to take charge of my life. I want to overcome the agony, the pain, the anguish. I'm losing it. And he has already said that. He is crying for help. And the only thing we can do honorably is to assist him. I only would not wish to do it in such a forum because he may end up typing some more and then we break his confidentiality. And you notice, David, he went through the email. So this is very, very personal. I wish you contact him and then we do the necessary when it is safe. Over to you.
I totally agree with you, Dr. I will reach out to him and then I can create the link between you and him so that he may get the necessary help that he requires. This one is from Collins Mutai. I'm a teacher by profession. I've been fast in answering questions, but of late, when I'm asked questions about current affairs, it takes time before I give correct responses. I'm now 48 years. Please help. Thank you. This one is also somebody who's crying for help.
Yes. And just like we said, I only say one thing. It is a clear sign of stress that is ending slowly, and it is almost eating the line of depression. And when it eats depression and it has gone past the first level, then counseling psychology becomes difficult to help or nurture or intervene for this person until now they have to go to psychiatry. They have to be given medication so that we can run both a clinic and therapy together. What this brother is also saying is he has noticed, he's very aware of his mental cognition. He needs help, and we can do this through therapy. So once again, David, reach out. He is saying he is stressed. We can look at the source and the cause of his stress. David?
Thank you so much, Dr. It seems also this one is coming from Elishama. I really have a problem of forgetting things quickly and still have trouble remembering things. Can someone help with that? So Dr. I think for people who need help, what we'll do after this session, we will try to create a link between Daktari and the people on the call, so that then it's easier for them to reach to you, Daktari, and you can have a one-on-one session, because I believe such a session you might not be able to do a deep dive and to offer a solution that will be very helpful.
You can't say it better. Thank you. That's the best way.
Yeah. So a lot of comments that are coming in, people are appreciating you, Daktari. There are those who are they're listening for the first time and they're really impressed. There's one. This is Geoffrey, who's saying it's short memory loss, particularly when you can't remember something, only for it to come back later, mental weakness.
Not necessarily. There are so many factors that we need to look at, and it is not healthy. It is not right for me to just run and say, yes, this is mental weakness, or this is a mental issue. I really don't like going into concluding this is bipolar, this is a disorder, before we have a one-on-one with the person. However, I can say generally, when you see such signs, they are telltales of things that have been happening. One great thing, and one thing I appreciate about the viewers and the listeners, is that they have got a higher sense of personal development. They have understood who they are, and they are able to notice, I used to operate at this level. Now I am at this level. They are also aware when their bodies are saying, we need assistance. Something is not okay. The best thing that you need to do is to seek help, and that is what you have said. There are so many factors that cause memory loss. There could be illnesses that are causing that. So it would be of great value for you to seek personal journey, so that things can be looked at, so diagnosis can be done at a point that it's very, very personal. However, I acknowledge, I applaud you guys for being aware of the fact that something is not okay. One thing that is right and that is always true, our mind will always deliver information when things are not right. The problem is we always ignore. And because you people are not ignoring, you are in the right track. So, seek help. Thank you, David.
Thank you so much, Daktari. We have a lot of appreciation coming in. That is from Mary Muchai, Damaris Mungai, Davis Muli, all them. They're just powerful message. They're asking about the presentation. This will be live. Will be on our YouTube channel, and you can always go back and listen to it. Now, there's a question here that is coming from Mary Duo, and she's, how would you know that someone is suffering from mental health? Sometimes at workplace, at home, in the community, it's difficult to notice someone struggling with mental health issues. To you, Dr. Ari?
Oh, okay, I will name 5 common, and these are general things that we need to look at, telltales about what could be going wrong. Number 1, and the most common, lack of sleep. Constant lack of sleep is nothing good. It is a telltale we are on the wrong path. When you find that you have got long-lasting sadness, you wake up irritable, you wake up annoyed, you are not happy. Like I said, it is Monday again. You want to call your immediate boss so that you can be given a sick off. It is a sign of things are not happening as they are supposed. Excessive fear, worry, anxiety, panic. This is a very dangerous sign. Everyone has got an equilibrium, a level whereby we are supposed to be able to manage our fears. When our fears, our anxieties move to muscle ache, tension, pain, physical tiredness, I must use a medication for me to peace, to feel better. It is something worrying. When we notice that we are socially withdrawn, we don't want the things that used to excite us yesterday. You used to take a jog. You used to run around every Sunday. You used to do 2-3 kilometers every weekend. It no longer encourages you. You feel tired. You feel exhausted. You don't want to be around people. And when you are, they are so irritating. They are so annoying. Then it is a sign things are not okay. When you have dramatic ways of dressing, eating, meaning your day routine and patterns are constantly set. Remember, we are behavior animals. We have patterns. And if you didn't know, that is why the guys in the DCI are able to track when criminals do things. They have studied human behavior. So now you do no longer take care of yourself. You no longer are conscious about how you look, how you behave, how it is no longer about the person you were before. Then it is dangerously getting unokay. Another common thing that we ignore, like I said, when Mary called me, my bowel habit changed instantly. And when I leave here today, after the feedback, you can take it from me, my bowel will come back to normal. When you notice for the last 1 month, you have had very troubled stomach. Your stool has changed, your eating habits, your comfort, your everything, your belly is, your gut is completely complaining. Seek help in the hospital. Check what could be stressing you. Check what could be putting you down. These are among the few that I could pick that are signs of you might be losing it. I did not mean losing it. I don't mean unatoka wazimu. No. You are mentally unwell. You are not ill, but it is a sign things are not okay. You don't need to run and start taking madawa ya watu wa madhara. But you can now start analyzing, writing journals. What am I going through? What could be happening to me? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daktari. Jamal Ngomai on our YouTube channel, he's asking, Daktari, can you also share with us proposed books that relate to mental wellness? That's a quick one, Daktari.
Well, maybe David, I check a few others that are authentic, that are written in simple language, because all the books that are in my mind right now are psychological books, and it won't be fair to propose a book and some might not be even in the country. So allow me to come back to you, David, so that I can say a few others who have written psychological books on mental wellness in language that is very, very consumable for everyone and for any one person, so that they can be able to read and help themselves. So Jamal, I will come back to you in due course.
From Simon McCoy, he's asking, what will be the effect of social media on nurturing and building healthy relationships? To you, Daktari.
Yes, I always call it a killer, and it has more than one effect. Have you ever walked into an hotel on a Sunday and you find a family of 2 children and father and mother, and they're having meals and food is on the table, and each and every person is eating looking at their phone? What social media has done, it has killed the relationships that we had. It has destroyed the connection. We have children who do not know each other. We have parents who are strangers. How many times have you had a partner, a spouse, being in an upstairs bedroom, send a text to the spouse on WhatsApp on the sitting room or on the lounge? Really? It means interaction in that house is dead. It means these gadgets have taken over. They have destroyed the oneness that we are supposed to. Now, let me speak about one greatest danger that we are suffering today. We claim that our sons and daughters are difficult to handle. But do we have time for phones in the house? Like I asked earlier, do we have rules, regulations, structures that are alive? Do people realize they need to talk to each other? When did you last sit down with your partner when the TV was off, when you don't have a newspaper, and you sat across the seat and you spoke to each other, not at each other? What do you nurture? Another thing that these gadgets have done is they have succeeded into entering into our mental, into our emotions. How? The groups we are in, the gossip that we always pass towards each other. Do we verify information even before we consume it? How much time do I spend on my phone as a father? Did I replace relationship, interaction with my people to the expense of technology? Yes, technology is a killer, but technology is not a killer as per se. We have allowed ourselves not to live in or within structures. We have killed social time. We have killed moments when we shared, we asked how each other has been, how the day has been. When did we lastly eat together? When? Sunday is claimed to be a family day. Do we do it? Until and when we become intentional. Until when we purposefully, deliberately work on some habits, then we will forever complain about gadgets. Let me ask parents, and I am one of them, because this always makes me wonder. When you buy a 5-year-old a phone, a touch phone, what are you doing? What for? I am a believer. A child does not need a phone. To do what? Umempeleka shule, utamchukua shule, anabaki nyumbani, and they tell you everyone has it. Is it about every family? Is this the Nchevere's family, or this is everyone's family? Some things we do out of lack of knowledge. I think we need to wake up as parents. I do not advocate for it, and I believe our children are not difficult. It is us who have not laid down structures. Yes and no, technology has not destroyed us. We have allowed it ourselves, thinking it's modernity. And no, we can rule what technology does. I can decide what to take. I know parents who have children and they have not put trackers on their phone because they know I am trusted, and they don't do it. Over to you, David.
Thank you so much, Dr. for that powerful message. The session has really gone way. We had booked for an hour, but Dr. I think the interactive, the questions that are coming in from our audience was really interactive. So allow me to kindly request the audience that we end here, so that then we can allow Dr. to, because I know he has other engagements he wants to go to. But before we end, I really sincerely want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for those who sent in messages, comments, and appreciation through emails, YouTube, and also through the Zoom chat. We really don't take that for granted, and we really appreciate. So another thing is that a comment from my marketing team is that feel free to engage us on what topic would you want to hear next. You can do that through our social media platform. Let us know what is it that you want to listen to next, so that then we can plan better and we can make it more interactive for you. Otherwise, in terms of the message from Dr. today, the video will be available is available on our YouTube channel. Everybody should be able to access this. Share it with your colleagues, those who are not able to tune in. Dr.'s contacts will be shared with you, all of you, so that anybody who wants to reach out to Dr. personally, then should be able to reach out to Dr. Or Dr. I think what you do, you can put up your screen where your contacts are displayed, so that then people should be able to pick that up. Otherwise, on behalf of Britam family, allow me to thank you all for tuning in today, and I wish you all the best weekend and happy Valentine's to all of you. Thank you so much, and I wish you also a nice weekend.